Okay, it's 11 o'clock. It's go time. This is Ron Rennan. I have the entire sales training team with me here today. And first off, a big welcome from the Toyota Portland region to all of you out there. And I hope everybody's safe, healthy, and looking at the sales report, you should be happy because we're back. The state of Washington dealers seem to be back. And we're number one in the country right now versus our sales objective, which is a good thing. And today we're going to talk about the RAV4 Hybrid, and it is truly an MVP all-star of our lineup. You're going to hear a lot more about that from Steve Dahlberg when I flip it over to him here in a minute. But you remember we launched the RAV, about a little over a year ago? In year-to-date, we are plus 72% on this vehicle, RAV4 Hybrid, versus last year, 2019 year-to-date at the same time. Think about that. Speaking of hybrids, yesterday we had a big announcement. Bob Carter and Jack Hollis announced exciting new product that's coming, both the Sienna and Venza. And Bob Carter mentioned 25% hybrid by 2025. Now that's nationally. Here in the Portland region, we're already targeting up to a third of our vehicles this year. And by 2025, we'll be asked to do a lot more than what the country's going to be doing at their 25%. But we're trending. Everything's in the right direction. I just come out of this stronger than ever. And without any more further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Stevie D. Mr. Dahlberg, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Ronnie. And good morning, Team Toyota. And very happy to be talking to a lot of you here during this. I guess we keep continuing hearing this interesting time. And we keep hearing the buzzwords like we're all in this together and uncharted waters and all that stuff. But I can truly say, and I'm happy to say, that in Team Toyota, we are all in this together, and we're going to come out better on the other side. I guarantee it. And we're going to do that with one of the vehicles here that we're comparing today. That would be the 2020 RAV4 Hybrid. And we announced this as hybrid, 2020 RAV4 Hybrid versus the competition. And when you do the numbers and you look at the competitors, the number one competitor versus RAV4 Hybrid is the 2020 Honda CR-V Hybrid. So we'll kick it off here. And before we start, of course, I've got to announce the team here that's on the call that's going to help support any questions. And you got Ronnie Rennan, the sales training manager. He just spoke. We've got CJ, Cynthia Johnson. We have Mr. Enthusiasm, David Yingling. We have Quick Draw McGraw, Mr. Edgar Delgadillo. Look for him in the 2020 Camry all-wheel drive walk-around video. We will be launching that. You'll see that on Instagram. We'll talk about that here in a minute. And we'll be launching that tomorrow morning. You should see that. So go check it out. It is a really great learning tool on the Camry all-wheel drive. Of course, all of you know her well, and we couldn't do it without her. This is Mrs. Sheila Bichek. And, of course, myself, Stevie D. So let's get going here. For sound quality purposes, of course, these webinars, if your volume's up or you've got multiple devices on it, it kind of messes with the sound quality. So make sure you mute your Microsoft Teams app and on your device, your phone or otherwise. Again, throughout the presentation, please type all questions in the Q&A, and the team will be doing our best to answer those at the end of the program. And this basically this meeting is a 20 to 30 minute comparative on the 2020 RAV4 Hybrid versus the Honda CR-V Hybrid. So this is not an ILT, but it's the key with these is to pull 2 or 3 nuggets away to help you close more deals on that 2020 RAV4 Hybrid. Also to keep us engaged, keep us together, and all these webinars and all these assets that we're sending you during this time is going to help us be better on the other side. So we'll move forward. The small SUV segment is gigantic, ladies and gentlemen. These are all the competitors, and I think there's actually a few more. Some of them you may recognize, some of you may not, but these are all volume, small SUV competitors versus our RAV4. So we have the Subaru Forester, formidable competitor. If you look at the market share numbers, that's the one that causes most problems for us. Second to that is the Honda CR-V. We have the Mazda Zoom CX-5, the Ford Escape, the Chevy Equinox, Hyundai Tucson, Mitsubishi Outlander, Kia Sportage. We've got the Jeep Compass, the GMC Terrain, another Mitsubishi in the Eclipse Cross. It's more of a crossover midsize. And we've got the Volkswagen Tiguan, the Nissan Rogue, which is more of a rental vehicle. They do big numbers in fleet. And of course, the Jeep Cherokees. So lots of competitors in this segment. But what I want to point out is that out of all these competitors, when you see a red arrow, they offer a hybrid. So they do have obviously the Honda CR-V hybrid, Ford Escape hybrid, and the Mitsubishi Outlander hybrid. So for our purposes, if we look at the numbers, which we will in a minute, we're going to eliminate the Outlander. We'll eliminate the Ford Escape. We're going to go right at the Honda CR-V for several reasons, which we'll get into. So if we look at small SUV sales and registrations, this is through February year to date. Now, mind you, this is just before the COVID-19 and the coronavirus pandemic. So this is through February. But some pretty interesting numbers here, and I want to point over to the left. You saw there must have been 15, 16, 70 competitors. These are the top 7 when it comes to sales and registrations. So if you look at the arrow, you can see where the rankings are, 1 through 8. RAV4 is in first rank, but if you look at last year, I'll put the cursor over there, we were number 3 last year, Forester number 2, CR-V number 1. Well, now we're flip-flop. RAV4 number 1, Forester number 2, CR-V number 3. So we've made a flip-flop, and that was basically year over year. We launched a new RAV4 gas and a new RAV4 hybrid. The second arrow denotes the market share or total share versus the competition. So if you look at this number right there, RAV4 gas and hybrid is almost 27% of what vehicles have been registered for the first 2 months of the year. So we've got a great start. We've got a great combination, RAV4 gas, RAV4 hybrid, and I wanted to share those numbers with you so you can kind of put it in perspective where Toyota is and who those competitors are. So this is a slide I wanted to share for you about hybrid. I'm going to fix something there so I can see it. Yeah, this is a hybrid slide that we reviewed in January with your dealers, and we wanted to share with you the increase in hybrid sales across the lineup. So if you go down from the top to bottom, that is all hybrids that we are actually offering, and the total numbers. We're going from 18,750 in the sales plan in 2019. We're going to go up almost 10,000 units to 23,035 in 2020. A huge increase in hybrids. We call it the hybrid imperative. And you see the number on the top, the RAV4 hybrid, the vehicle we're talking about today, is going to lead the way. If you also look, Ronnie mentioned the new Venza coming out, 100% hybrid. We're going to be seeing that in a mid-year. So we're looking at $1,379 for the second half of the year, the second half, 6 months. You can see we're adding the RAV4 Prime. That's coming next. And then the Sienna hybrid you'll see probably in that October timeframe. So hybrids are a big part of our lineup, and they're going to be the reason we get to our number. So head to head. So if you look at the numbers, you look at what they sell, what we sell in our small sport utility hybrid, our RXLE is going to be one of our top sellers, and the CR-V EX is their top seller. So for apples to apples comparison, we're going to put those two together in the head-to-head based on volume. So if we do a grade walk on the Honda CR-V, you can see very similar to Toyota. They offer a base LX all the way up to the hybrid touring with all the bells and whistles. That is 4 grades they offer, starting at $27,750 all the way up to $35,950. Comparative to the RAV4 hybrid, again, we offer four different models, starting with the LE all the way to the hybrid. The big difference in our offerings is that we offer a extreme sport version in the XSE. I'll go back up to the grade walk for the Honda CR-V. You can, in that third section, it's the EXL. So that's basically an EX with leather and a few more features. We offer the bad boy XSC, which by far is the one everybody wants. So you've apples to apples here. You look at the numbers, we're pretty much the same. But we'll get into something here in a minute. I wanted to go over to some quick specs. And basically this is at a glance, side by side. These are basically the specs, and we want to show you the advantages we have versus the Honda CR-V. Now, if you do apples to apples, the Honda CR-V is a very good vehicle. We talk about it all the time when we're out in your dealership and when we're out launching vehicles. Honda is a formidable competitor along with Subaru. We're not hacking on them. We want to love them up a little bit because, you know, it makes us better. When we admit to a formidable competitor, it helps us sell our product better. But at the end of this, we're going to give you 2 or 3 nuggets as to why the Toyota is probably going to win every time based on needs assessment with your customer. So if you look side by side, we offer very similar powertrains. We offer a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine with a CVT. They offer basically the same powertrain in the Accord, a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine with a continuously variable transmission. The one thing when you drive them side by side is our CVTs seem to be a little bit more refined in terms of the ramp up to get to the traction, get to the power. Honda's always had a problem with lag, and they do offer the turbos in their vehicles, which add to a kind of a dual lag when getting started up, getting torque, getting moving. You can look at horsepower. Advantage Toyota, 219 combined net versus 212 in the CR-V. We get better fuel economy. It looks like we net 3 better on the highway and 2 combined overall. That's an advantage. And when people buy hybrid anything, their 1 and 2 primary considerations are fuel economy. Looks like the CR-V bests us in passenger volume. That's headroom, hip, leg room, all that in the space that the occupant's sitting in the seat. But on the next row down, it looks like we've got better cargo volume in the second and third rows. We offer Toyota Safety Sense 2.0 in our RAV4, and they offer Honda Sensing. Yes, now Honda Sensing is standard in the CR-V, but we'll show you here in a couple more slides why Toyota Safety Sense is a more robust safety suite of products. Way more robust. And we'll get into that. Side by side, if you look at the multimedia, it looks like very comparative. Both have 7-inch displays. Both have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, but we get a little bit of a bump there with Amazon Alexa. Honda does not offer that. Connected services, side by side, Safety Connect, Wi-Fi Connect, and the Honda offers basic link services. So we might get a little edge there. We both have dual climate control. We bested on the maintenance plan in Toyota Care. It's not available with Honda. They pump it into their 3 or 36,000 mile 24 roadside assistance. So there you go. That's kind of a base side-by-side comparison. So let's get to the rubber hits the road here. I want to show you this. And this is literally from everywhere I researched, and a lot of it came from Engage. So that is your one-stop shop for anything product Toyota and anything comparative. Here is what the advantages are, bottom line. In the CRV EX hybrid, they have 2 more speakers than we do. They've got a 12-way power adjustable driver's seat versus our 8-way. They've got 18-inch alloys versus our 17. They do have a multi-angle backup camera versus our fixed angle, and they have heated front seat standard. We don't have those things when we're going EX to XLE. Here's where the rubber hits the road, and if any customer asks, this is what you can share with them. Our base MSRP is about a $600+ difference. We are less expensive than the CRV EX, apples to apples. We have a combined net horsepower. We have more power. Is that important to you, Mr. and Mrs. Customer? Well, that's usually number 2 on the list behind fuel economy. Well, we have better fuel economy, number 1 on the list for most customers nowadays. We talked about that. So you look at the numbers, it's close, 4138.40 versus 4035.38 on the XLE versus the EX. This is a big one. We have a 1,750-pound tow rating. We offer standard roof rails, and we have a multi-terrain select drive system that dials in our driving in off-road conditions for better traction. Honda doesn't offer tow rating. In fact, Honda recommends you do not tow with the CRV. That's huge. They don't offer standard roof rails, and they have a singular all-wheel drive system with no adjustments. We have more cargo volume in the second and third row. We have a better hybrid battery warranty. That's huge. 2 years and significant mileage, 10-year 150 versus Honda's 8-year 80,000. We could say we have a safer vehicle, right, along with a more robust standard safety system in TSS 2.0. We have 8 airbags versus 6. That typically runs across the board in every model, Honda versus Toyota. And again, we have a more robust standard safety suite, which we'll get into right now. Side by side, Honda Sensing is now quote-unquote standard across the lineup, which it isn't really. They only offer it in a few models on the Fit EX and EXL. The 2020 HRV, they only offer it in the EX and above, and their minivan, the Odyssey, they only offer it EX and above. So it's not standard across the board like they say it is. And of course, we offer TSSP and 2.0 on all of our Toyota vehicles. Standard life-saving technology. So here's the difference. Very similar base safety features, pre-collision versus collision mitigation. But what we have is pedestrian detection in low light and daytime cyclists. Can't get that in a Honda. They did add traffic sign recognition to our road sign assist in 2020. But they do not have lane tracing assist in their LKAS, their lane keeping assist system. Lane departure alert with steering assist, we have. They have a version of that. They don't offer automatic high beams, which every time in the IIHS, Insurance Institute for Highway Safety tests, you have automatic high beams, you get to the 4 stars. You get 4 star or 3 stars or less. And then of course we offer full speed dynamic range cruise control, and they offer adaptive. So we get, in addition to the Honda Sensing, we have pedestrian detection, daytime cyclists, and automatic high beams, and lane tracing assist. So a more robust safety system, and safety is usually in the top 3 buying considerations. So I wanted to show you some incentives here, and I'm just going to load them all up here because there's a lot of them. And when I say we're going to get through this together, the incentives are going to help us do that. If we look at APRs, I added the gas. We've got 0-60 on all gas RAV4 models. I know some customers are asking you, why aren't we having 0 extended lifetime financing? Because we don't want to put our customers in a financial situation. or have them be underwater in that second year of ownership. So we're going to stay steady on that 0-60. The RAV4 hybrid, 1960. So that's a really good APR for a hybrid customer. We're offering a 90-day deferred payment customer support program. That is on all new Toyota models across the board. You asked for it, you got it. We're offering sales consultant pulls, $100 on all new Toyota vehicles. We are offering a special lease, and it is special, $249 a month with $29.99 due at signing on the RAV4 hybrid. We're $229 a month, $29.99 due at signing on the gas. So that's a really, really killer special lease that's subvented through TFS. And really killer lease. And we're doubling down on any of our customers coming out of a finance or lease. We're offering $1,000 rebates on the finance or lease of a new Toyota, hopefully a RAV4 gas or a hybrid. So really, really good incentives. TFS has been a great partner with us through this, and I wanted to share that with you. We can't talk about Toyotas without talking about accolades, and I know sometimes accolades are BS, but I just want to run through a few of these that I think may mean something. Not that you're going to roll these with a customer, and not that these are deal closers or game changers or deal changers or any of that, but they may help you out. So safety, if that's a top 3 buy-in consideration, we get top safety pick in the RAV4 for 2020. We also get the 5-star NHTSA. That's our local National Highway Transportation Safety Administration. We get the 5-star. So we get the back-to-back. We get both IIHS safety and federal government telling us we've got the safest vehicle. We got the 2019 Best Resale Awards from Kelley Blue Book. Of course, that's huge. That's in typical buying consideration. They want their vehicle to be worth something when they sell it in the future. Car and Driver gave it 8 out of 10, which is saying something, because Car and Driver doesn't give us anything usually more than 8 out of 10. So I wanted to show you that. U.S. News and World Report gives the RAV4 hybrid #1 in hybrid and electric SUVs out of all hybrid and electric SUVs. They give us the #1. And then it looks like for the money, it's the best for the money from U.S. News and World Report for 2020. So that's good too. And then finally, Motor Trend. I read an article, and there wasn't any other accolades, but I want to share with you some verbiage here that's interesting, because Motor Trend never says anything nice about Toyotas. But I did want to share this with you on the RAV4 hybrid. For those who notice and appreciate the details, Motor Trend said this is the car you can be proud of. And then we'd argue that RAV4 is one of the most attractive vehicles in the segment. They never say that. And then the last one, they mentioned, forget what you think you know about hybrids. Enter the 2020 RAV4 hybrid. So some really, really great accolades. I wanted to share those with you. We're winding down here. Hopefully we picked up a couple nuggets. I know these things are quick, but here's some more assets that we've come up with. Is Instagram. We are on Instagram, ladies and gentlemen. We want you to follow us at Toyota__ PDX training. We want to get more followers, and we use Instagram because of the demographic, right? We want your 18 to 35-ish year olds who really are the 60, 70, 80% of your employees in your dealership. We want you guys to follow us, and we're dumping a lot of content, video, feature of the week's coming. We've got walkarounds. We've got product sizzle videos. So check that out. And of course, check us out on our YouTube channel, Toyota Portland Region Sales Training, for all things Toyota product. You're gonna get everything on that. So come check us out. And that really leads us into, if you have any questions, hopefully there's some questions in the Q&A. You can type those in now. And I'm going to kick this over to Edgar Double Guns Delgadillo to see if we have any questions.
All right, CVD, thank you for that presentation. I do want to start off with a question here. It's actually regarding the Highlander. So the question states, how many mid-size SUV hybrid competitors are there to compete with Highlander?
You know, that's an interesting question. It's a good one too, because you saw for the small SUV segment, there were a lot of competitors, but very few hybrid competitors. And I find that when I looked at, I've looked in that segment numbers too, and it's the same kind of thing. There's even less. What I know is the Acura, the MDX is a competitor. That's more in the luxury line. And I know the Mitsubishi Outlander is a hybrid. All the other hybrids in that segment are luxury that I can find. The Explorer doesn't offer a hybrid. The Ascent, the Pilot, those would be the main competitors for Highlander. And from my research, if you look at the luxury midsize, almost every manufacturer, German, Asian import, well, you could say Swedes, right? Because there's a couple Volvos in there. So hybrids in the midsize segment, you're going to see more of them in the luxury lines versus the, the volume manufacturers.
Awesome.
Hey, Steve, I have a question. This is CJ, and I'm sure the audience, would probably be wondering the same thing. But how many more hybrids, SUVs, does Toyota plan on producing? Because we have a lot of different products that are coming out. So, I mean, like, how many more do you think's coming?
Well, that's a great question. I'm going to go up to this slide here, and we can talk about this. Hopefully, did we get the full screen?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, so yeah, and that's a great question. How many hybrid SUVs will Toyota produce? So I don't know, in the next 5 years, I guess. I don't know the number. I can tell you right now. You can look at the lineup. You've got RAV4, which is going to be our leader. There's one, Highlander 2. You're going to consider the Venza a crossover. There's 3, RAV4 Prime 4. I'd even put Sienna in there. You're at 5. It's a great question. I don't have in specifics the answer, but I do know that we're hearing, a hybrid offering in the new Tundra. That's not 100%, but I think we're safe to say you're going to see some type of hybrid offering. If you see that, you're probably going to see one in a Sequoia based on the same platform. So there would be another. I don't know what happens with 4Runner. I know a new one's coming at some point, but I think you're safe to say you're going to see a few more, CJ. That is a great question. I wish I had a better answer.
Thank you, Steve.
Any more questions, Edgar?
I do have a question from James. I5 Toyota, asking, did I miss the announcement of sales getting $100 spins on all new hybrids only or all new Toyotas?
Yeah, the incentive should be for all new Toyotas for the month of May. So that would be your answer. I don't know if your management informed you or not, but yeah, that was I think it was in April too. Ronnie, do you know, it was both April and May, correct?
I believe you are correct. And you know what we'll do we'll make sure the district team will follow up with I-5. We'll make sure that we button that up, but I do believe that is the case. And if anybody from Toyota is on that knows definitively the answer, they can type it in.
Hey,
Awesome.
Stevie D, there was one question that came in at the end of our last webinar indicating it came from anonymous, so we don't know who the requester was, but it was, with lower gas prices, it has been harder to move hybrids versus gas. What would be your 3 recommended selling points to combat that?
Yeah, I remember that, and I think that happened at the end of the Highlander Highlander hybrid presentation. So, that's a great question. And I think there's a lot of benefits for the hybrid versus gas. I would say, I got a couple here. Number one, environmentally friendly. If it's important to them that their vehicle runs cleaner with less CO2 emissions, lowering your carbon footprint. Obviously, I think that would be a benefit. You can tack onto that financial benefits. Typically, depending on your state, hybrid vehicles are supported by a tax credit of some sort and incentives. I think that's a big one. I know that gas prices are low now, but the gas prices are going to come back. So I would say also resale value. If you buy the vehicle today, you may pay a premium. And with Toyota, the premium's usually not big. I think it's a couple thousand on Highlander, and it's what is it, 1,200 apples to apples on the gas to 12 or 1,400 premium on the gas to hybrid RAV. But yeah, resale value when you purchase a hybrid now, when the gas prices are low, the gas prices are going to go back up. And obviously you'll have a vehicle when gas prices go back up. Your vehicle is going to be more in demand. That's for sure. So I would say resale value. And a big one that nobody really talks about is you get more power out of a hybrid. For sure, in the low end, the battery and the motor generators, they produce gobs of torque. They get you, it's 100% torque. So I think performance would be something that you could relay to a customer. And I think with Toyota, too, is reliability with our, basically starting with our nickel metal hydride battery, they're bulletproof. So, there's a lot of them. So environmentally friendly, reduce your carbon footprint, higher resale value, gas prices are going up, more low-end power. I did want to mention an article that I read, and I wrote it down here for anybody that has a similar question. I think it's a great time to go read this article. Google benefits of hybrid cars, and it's the second or third one down, and it's by Autobytel. And it's called The 9 Benefits of Hybrid Vehicles. And I just read you a few of them, but I'd shore yourself up reading that article, and you'll be able to be fortified when that customer comes in and doesn't want to pay the premium. I think the premium's worth it.
Hey, Steve, just to add on to that real quick, on Engage, there's also 6 facts about hybrids also on the Instagram page. And there's some great things to reference between hybrid cars and gas-powered cars.
Thank you. That's a good point, David. Any other questions, Edgar?
No, Steve. It looks like that's it for questions. Back to you.
Oh, there are a few more that just came in.
Oh, here we go. Excuse me here. So we got 2 more. One from Rachel. At Marysville Toyota, asking, is the RAV4 Prime going to be available up here in Marysville? I asked because of the Prius Prime is not up here in Marysville.
Yeah, Rachel, great question. And I think others can chime in. And what I know about Washington State is they're not it's a state deal. It's politics. And the reason why you didn't get the Prius Prime there is the same reason you're probably not going to get the RAV4 Prime. Now, that's for now. I think there's a lot of fluid things in state governments right now, especially with the COVID-19 thing. So stay tuned for that. But I think, Rachel, I'm almost 100% sure we won't be offering it initially. You won't be able to sell them at Washington State dealers.
We also had...
I'll echo those sentiments. I think, Steve, you're correct. I think it's, for the time being, it's exactly the same as the Prius Prime. So they'll have to trade it probably with an Oregon dealer, I think, will be the mechanism for them to obtain. And when we launched the Prius Prime, once that got settled in, it was pretty consistent how washing dealers were able to get what they needed. So hopefully that'll be the case. And I know the wheels of change are churning in the political environment, just like Steve had mentioned, to hopefully get Washington on board sooner than later.
Thanks, Ronnie.
We also had just one more piece of feedback here. It was from an anonymous viewer, and I believe it was just regarding, when we're talking about the hybrid, the benefits of hybrid, and they stated, you also have less moving parts on a hybrid. I've seen Prius come back with 200K and original brakes. So I think that was just some good feedback from a viewer. Thank you for that.
Yeah, that's a great addition, and that he or she just mentioned reliability over time, and the braking component, and less moving parts, right? Less moving parts mean less problems. So if there are no more questions, hopefully, gosh, we went a little bit long today, but I appreciate all of you being on, and I wanted to announce our next training. This is coming this Thursday, May 21st. It is 2020 Corolla versus the competition. Same bat time, same bat channel. So if that is it, please come and see us on Thursday. We are planning more of these webinars. We're working towards an ILT credit version, which would be a little bit longer. Look for that in the June-July timeframe. Stay safe, everybody, and go sell those Toyotas. If you need anything, we are a click, phone call, text away from whatever you need. So we'll look forward to seeing you on Thursday, and have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.